Hi, everybody. Great to see so many of you. Um, just to say, this is quite you can probably see, this is a meeting rather than a webinar. So the idea is we are going to be quite interactive today. So if you could keep yourself muted, that would be great. But we do really encourage videos on. It's great to see so many familiar faces on the call. I'm just going to share my screen. Oh, and if somebody in my team could keep admitting people while I'm talking, that would be great. Thank you. Hey. Okay, so welcome everybody. For those of you just joining, I was just saying to everybody that this is going to be quite an interactive session. So we do encourage cameras on if you're able, but please do stay muted if you're not speaking. So for those of you I haven't met, my name is Pagan and I oversee recruitment for the Executive Diploma in Financial Strategy. If you don't know me, then you probably met my colleague Marta, who's also on the call. Or indeed my colleague Sarah, who's just come back from maternity leave today. So welcome back, Sarah. We're also joined by the Programme Director, Ken Okamura, as well as the Programme Manager, Matthew Wallen, and you'll hear from both of them a bit more about the programme during the session. Just to run through the agenda, we should finish within the hour. We're going to hear from Ken about the curriculum and a bit more about the assessment. And Matthew will also talk about his role in the process and a bit more about what you can expect on the programme. We'll also have some time for breakout rooms so you can all start to get to know each other. And also we'll have a Q&A session at the end. If you do have any questions as we're going along, again, it's quite informal, so just raise your hand or put it in the chat and we'll come to you. I'm going to hand things over to Ken now, but just a note that Ken does have to drop off after his bit. So if you do have any questions about the curriculum or assessment, do put those in the chat as Ken is speaking, and we'll get to those and not wait for the Q&A at the end. But great, over to you, Ken.
Thank you, Megan. Hi, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all in, well, under a month now. And I hope that you're enjoying the end of the year. So my name is Ken Okamura. I'm a member of the finance faculty at the business school. And as you know, the course is made up of some strategy stuff and some finance stuff. Generally, the participants on the course either find the strategy stuff relatively easy or the finance stuff relatively easy. But we're hoping that you will learn a great deal from the course, from each other, and also from us, the faculty at the business school. If we could have the next slide, please. So this is the schedule for the modules next year. Sorry, it's going to be just over a month. So the 22nd to the 25th of January, and then April, and then another module in July, and the final module in October. And at the end, there will be an final integrative assignment where you will actually kind of build on everything that you've learned in the previous 4 modules. Everyone is expected to do quite a lot of pre-reading for each of these courses. We would expect everyone to be doing 6 to 8 hours per week of independent study during the course of the year. It's possible that people will do more. It is very important for everyone to try and work in on the material in between. And a lot of the time, the cohort comes together and works in study groups, either virtually or in person. And in general, again, you'll learn quite a lot from each other because the people who are good at strategy and ops are more able to help those with a finance background and vice versa. And so it is very much a question of give and take here. So next slide, please. So the strategy kind of module is very much kind of a overview of strategy. For those people who've studied strategy in the past, you will discover that the academic topic has changed quite a lot over time. It is very much big picture stuff. We will be talking very much about strategic context and options. We will be talking, while we will be talking a great deal, i.e. the faculty, one of the great things about especially the strategy module is that there will be a lot of opportunity for you to learn from each other, because as we bring up different kind of ideas, people then chip in and talk about how they do the types of things that we will be discussing. And so it is very, very much a real world kind of approach. And one of the things that you'll take away from this is an opportunity to think about kind of the strategic priorities of your own business. Next module, please. So business finance, this is how to value an investment project. So what I would call asset pricing, the theory of how the cost of capital is calculated, an understanding of capital structure. And then the second bit of finance is basically kind of what we would call corporate finance, which is how to ensure the entrepreneur or the manager does the investment that they promised when it was originally valued. And so this is things like corporate governance. We will talk a little bit also about things like risk management. Business finance is very, very theory heavy. It is very much about making sure that we're all on the same page with the tools and the frameworks used in finance. This is also the module that I will probably be teaching you this year. It is the module that the non-finance people always find most difficult, and we do try and encourage people to prep for it. Next module, please. Corporate valuation is a much, much more kind of applied thing than the business finance. This is where you actually get your hands dirty and you discover that all the things that we teach you in module 2, they tend to be a little bit more kind of touchy-feely once we're actually applying them in the real world. The other thing is that it will also help you integrate the strategy module into thinking about corporate value. And you will end up thinking about valuation in a variety of different scenarios. And yes, you do use everything that we teach you in module 2, but you will use them in a much more kind of applied fashion. Next slide, please. So financial strategies for growth is module 4. So the first module is strategy. The next 2 modules are more financy. The final module is a mix of the two, perhaps a little bit more strategy, but certainly a mix of both, and an opportunity to integrate everything that we've done in the first 3 modules together. You'll discuss things like, should you be growing organically or via kind of acquisitions, M&A? There'll be quite a lot of discussion about implementation in M&A, which will get you to really kind of touchy-feely subjects, such as culture. It'll be talking about the goals of the acquisition and the role of kind of the implementation team in synergies. So it does draw very much on the first 3 modules. Taught by my colleague, Tim Galpin, who does basically M&A implementation in his kind of other gig. Next slide, please. Okay, here is the kind of dreaded assessment slide. So assessment, this is Oxford. We actually do assess. We expect people to take exams and pass them. This is a qualification after all. And you will see that there are three basically kind of take-home pieces and one in-person exam. The in-person exam is for business finance. I have held out for a in-person exam. I still think it's the best way of encouraging people to learn all the things that we expect you to learn and take away. The other assessments, basically the way it works is that you will be sent some material and then a topic, and then you're expected to work on it in a limited amount of time. That's true for strategy. It's also true for corporate valuation. For financial strategies for growth, it's actually integrated into a broader kind of piece of work where you try and draw from at least one, but possibly all the other modules of the diploma, so that you actually show a mastery of all of the material. So business finance, because it's an in-person exam, will actually take place during the week that you will be doing your corporate valuation module. And for that, we will make you go and wear a gown and a suit or a dress and a cap and everything else. All of this will be provided. Think of it as being part of the Oxford experience.
I wanted to talk about the Executive Impact and Insight series that we run. So we've heard from Ken about your formal curriculum and assessment. This is something that you might not be familiar with because it's not a mandatory part of the course. So for a couple of years now, we've been running this Impact and Insight series where throughout the year, we will invite you to a number of online sessions. Half of these will be with career coaches, half of them will be faculty at the business school. These are all optional and they're all open to all of the diploma students across the portfolio. So this is just a timeline of when these sessions will run this year. A couple of them, the topic is still under review. But just to give you an idea of what some of the topics we've run before with the career coaches have been, we've had one on storytelling, how to make a career transition. We also have Joseph Liu joining us, who's a career coach, talking about building your personal brand. So the idea is that these sessions just kind of complement your learning experience. Don't worry about writing down the dates. Once you get access to the student platform, they will all be on there. But this is just to make you aware that that is something we offer and encourage you to attend if you are able. Okay, so I'm now, you've been doing a lot of listening, so I'm now going to turn it over to you guys. This picture on the screen is our cohort who have just finished their teaching a couple months ago. So this will be you in a few months at one of your lovely college dinners. I'm going to run through some statistics and we'll be doing a breakout room shortly. But just to get you all warmed up, I thought it would be a good idea to run a quick poll and to find out from you guys what it is that you're most looking forward to. Great. Okay, so yes, I hope that was all interesting to get a sense of who is going to be in your class next year. I just wanted to share some kind of demographic figures. So as you probably saw in your breakout room, we are expecting quite a diverse bunch of people. So in terms of where you all come from geographically, this is how it looks on the map. So every continent nearly is represented apart from South America and Australia this year, which makes sense with them being quite far away and hard to travel from Oxford. So we've got quite a high portion of Africans in the class this year and quite a good healthy number of students coming from North America, UK, Europe, Middle East and Asia, which is really great to see. And in terms of diversity of perspective, we also have a number of different industries represented in the class, as is quite typical. So I've just put on the screen some examples of industries that you're coming from. So as you expect, we get quite a lot of people coming from finance. So we've got investment bankers, we've got people who work in accounting, but also we've got students from NGOs, healthcare, consulting, so quite a big mix. And I've also put a few job titles here on the screen of some of your job titles. So we have people from the C-suite, senior managers, founders, heads of departments. And I think this is a real testament to just how much experience is going to be in the classroom, which is great to see. And the average age, as it stands at the moment, is 39. Right, so that's a bit about your class and what you can expect, but I am now going to introduce you to our wonderful program manager, Matthew Wallen. Matthew, I'll share screen if you're happy with that, and just tell me to go along when you're ready.
Great, thank you very much, Pagan. Yeah, so it's a big hello from me, a welcome. It's really great to meet you all, see so many different faces. First of all, thank you to Pagan and Marta for doing, as usual, such a great job in putting together a really diverse, experienced, interesting class. I really look forward to meeting you next year and accompanying you on your journey over the next year. Congratulations are definitely in order to all of you for receiving an offer for the diploma at Oxford. That's already a fantastic achievement, and it's going to be a really great journey that we're going to go that you're going to experience this coming year. So as Marta as Pagan has mentioned, I am the program manager. I'm responsible for the day-to-day logistics, operational, administrative running of the program. I look after everything that does not come under Ken's remit in terms of the actual academic content of the program, and I also do not deal with the assessment side of things. But everything else, I'm your first point of contact. So if we can just move on to the next slide. This is a little overview of the points of contact throughout your journey. You will already have met some of these people. So first of all, you will have met Pagan and or Marta, who will have first spoken to you about the program. After you apply, you then move on to the admissions team, Joanne Boylan's team, and they will help you to be onboarded onto the program and make sure that the transition to starting the program goes very smoothly. The third stage is myself. That's when you're actually on the program. And as I say, I will be looking after you at that stage. Finally, and it does seem a very long time away, but I promise you it will come quickly, the stage of becoming alumni. So early in 2026, you'll finish your program and then you'll be invited to graduate. And indeed, your relationship with the school and with the university will continue. It will be a lifelong relationship, and the alumni team will be the ones to carry that forward with you and be your main point of contact there. Just on the bottom right, there's a number of other useful contacts to do with libraries, IT, and assessments. So there are other colleagues within the school with whom I work to support you in those areas. Just moving on. This now looks at the kind of specific rhythm of the program and of each module. So within each module, the first step is for you to do the pre-work, the pre-reading, which was already mentioned before. You will receive access to the pre-reading at least 4 weeks before each module. That is delivered on our virtual learning environment platform called Canvas. You will receive access to Canvas and your school email address as well within the next week, provided that you've already paid your deposit and your place is confirmed. There will be explanatory emails in order to get you onboarded and get you access to your email account and to Canvas. And there will also be a dedicated live support session in early January to deal with any questions or issues that you might have there. So within those 4 weeks before each module, you are, as Ken said, expected, very strongly encouraged to cover the pre-reading to make sure that you're fully prepared for the module. The module week itself is in person in Oxford, 4 days from Wednesday to Saturday. That's really a very intensive period where you will have obviously the opportunity to delve into the subject matter with your professors, but it will be also a great opportunity to experience life in Oxford and also to meet and network with your colleagues. Finally, the assessment, and Ken has spoken in detail about this, about the different format of the assessment in each module, so I won't go into too much detail of that, but that clearly comes after the relevant module. And in module 4, that takes the format of the final integrative assignment, where you have 3 months to complete that. So that would be finished in January 2026. Next slide, please. Here, this just gives the outline of a typical module week timetable. So teaching would usually be divided into 4 main blocks each day. Teaching would run from 9 o'clock till about 5 o'clock or 5:30. Throughout the day, especially during module 1, there will be a number of shorter induction sessions where colleagues will come and speak to you with a focus on introducing the IT, the assessments, the library areas. In the evenings, we put on a number of activities for you, typically 2 or possibly 3 of the evenings each module. So we will have a drinks reception, which might be held in the school or in a different venue across Oxford. We will always go and dine at one of the colleges, and there will typically be a seasonal activity as well. I'll mention a bit more about those shortly. So just moving on. And indeed, the Oxford experience, this we find from feedback from previous participants, is a really important part of the program that's really valued. And here you've just got a flavour of some of the activities. So college dinner, I've already mentioned. There's the opportunity to go punting, which is a specific boating activity, which is quite specific to Oxford. We will usually take you to a typical Oxford pub for dinner one time. There is Evensong, which is a choral service in an Oxford College chapel. And there's also the opportunity to engage in an Oxford Union style debate, which previous participants say is quite a daunting prospect, but in the end, it's very enjoyable and educational. So next slide, please. I'm now going to talk about Pembroke College. This is one of the 39 constituent colleges of Oxford. Oxford and Cambridge are quite unique in the United Kingdom in having this collegiate system. This is a really important part of students' life at Oxford. As members of the Diploma in Financial Strategy, you will be given associate membership of Pembroke College. This means that you will be members of the college again for life, and different students will make more of this or less, but yeah, it's really appreciated as a way of getting integrated even further into the Oxford community. Pembroke is located in the centre of town. It's about 10 or 12 minutes walk from the business school. As you can see, they have some very pretty old buildings. It's one of the middle-aged colleges in terms of Oxford. It's 400 years old this year, in fact. It was founded in 1624. So it's a very exciting time for them. Pembroke, they have a very strong involvement with the business school historically, strong involvement with economics, languages, management studies, relevant to us. They have their own graduate community, so you will come under that as postgraduate students. It's called the Middle Common Room, or the MCR. You will be invited to various events, which you could attend whenever you're in Oxford. And you also have the opportunity to get involved in the committee if you're feeling keen. So just moving on. And I think this is the final slide from me. This is just giving kind of an overview of my role and what I'm here to do. So I will be assisting you in the weeks ahead and throughout next year. I will be making sure that you are onboarded correctly, and I will be there to help you navigate your whole time during Oxford. I can advise on university policy and procedure, and after module 1, once class representatives are in place, I will be coordinating with them and with Ken to receive feedback and ideas from you as a cohort. And on the right, hopefully this is fairly obvious and fairly standard, but I can't bend university regulations, and I cannot write your assignments for you. I assure you that really wouldn't give you any benefit if I did.
So I just want to make you aware of some final steps that you need to complete before the 22nd of January. So just a reminder, for those of you who haven't, please do pay your deposit as soon as possible. Once we have your deposit, we will be able to start getting you onboarded. So all of the things Matthew was talking about earlier, like getting access to Canvas, getting your student email, we can't do that unfortunately until the deposit is in. You should, you might not have had this yet, but if you have, there's an admission survey to complete, which involves you providing a short bio of yourself as well as a headshot. This goes into your student profile book, which is essentially a guide for all of you about who else is in your class. There's the university card form as well. Admissions might have already sent that to you. You just need to complete that to ensure you can get your student access card. Your student card, which is also called the Bodleian card. It's very confusing because you're going to get 2 cards. You're going to get your access card for the Said building, and you're also going to get your student card, which is kind of proof of your identity. So as Matthew said, you're soon going to be getting a notification about your Said email, so you need to activate that. Later this week, I believe it is, we're going to get access to Canvas, where there will be information about pre-reading. Just a reminder as well to apply for a visa if you need to, travel and accommodation. And I believe next week, the admissions team are going to be sending out the final invoice for your fees. And that is due by the start of the programme, which is the 22nd of January.